Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lessons with Mark. Am I in the camera? I think I'm in the camera. If my voice is a bit croaky, it's because England beat France in the rugby, so I was cheering quite loud. Anyway, welcome back to Lessons with Mark. This is where I talk about a topic. In this week's talk, we're going to be talking about pancakes because it's very topical this time of the year because it's Shrove Tuesday. Now, if you do like these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. If you don't, then move on and go and watch the other videos where I do a bit more cooking. And if you enjoy those, don't forget to like and subscribe and do all that kind of jazz. So let's talk about pancakes. In reality, there's two types of pancakes, isn't there? Now, I suppose a traditional one for pancake day would be the thin pancake, which is over here. Thin, as you can tell, I've already done some writing. Thin, and then over here is thick. Now, whenever I start writing down a recipe, in my head, I always end up trying to understand roughly what's going on, so the ingredients that are going in and why is it happening and what's it doing. You don't always have to do this, but I think this one's quite interesting. So for a thin pancake, what we've got is 110 grams of plain flour, you've got 2 eggs, and you've got 200 ml of milk and 75 grams or 75 ml of water and then some butter. So to make the batter, everyone knows how to do that. I can sieve some flour to make it nice and airy, crack your eggs in, mix them into the middle, and then when this milk goes in and this water, obviously just turn it into a batter. Now, funnily enough, I was talking to George Egg about this, who I do a wonderful podcast with, Stuffed. If you haven't listened to it, go and listen to it. And he was saying that he really pushes the water content in here, which turns it into more of like a French crepe style pancake. So if you up this, maybe you change this to 150 and then change that, so you have the same volume, whatever that is, 125, then what will start to happen is the edges will start to crisp a lot more and you'll get a really, really thin pancake. Now the butter, which it says here, I think it's 50 grams is in the recipe. You can melt all of it, pour a little bit into the batter, which will add a nice richness, a little pinch of salt maybe, and a little tickle of sugar just to help you along your way. And then all you're gonna do, nice hot pan. They always say the first one wrecks. I don't understand why the first one wrecks, but anyway, the first one wrecks. So nice warm, I say medium to high pan, put your butter in, whizzle it around, pour it in, and then all you're gonna do is just twist and turn your pancake until it fills the bottom. Flip the old girl over, depending on how big it is, you might need to stick a palette knife in the middle, flip it over that way, or you could toss it. Who likes to toss? So the thick one over here, now this is very interesting, this one, because this is a sort of a riff on a Kenji Lopez slash BBC Good Food. So 200 grams of self-raising. Now, this is plain flour because you don't want things to poof up. Self-raising flour, okay, so you've got 200 grams, 3 eggs, and then you're gonna go a teaspoon of baking powder and half a teaspoon of bicarb, we'll come back to that, teaspoon of sugar, 200 ml milk. Now, what you're looking for here is this one's flat as a pancake, and this one you want to have, this is like your American style pancakes, you want to have a nice bit of fluff and then flippy flip and then it will fluff into the middle. Two things that I've learned from doing this pretty much every weekend with my son is he doesn't care about the bicarb, but the bicarb has a very important thing in the pancake cooking process. So bicarb, I always pronounce this wrong, but excuse me, is the Maillard reaction. Maillard reaction is where you cook a piece of steak and you get that nice crust. Now bicarb is almost like a secret ingredient within the kitchen that also does that. So if you put it on things like your chicken bones, if you're gonna roast them for a stock, you'll get a deeper Maillard reaction. It's something to do with the alkaline, it's something to do with something, which I don't know, but I don't tend to do it with lots of stuff. But in here, it will give you a nice fluffy pancake with a beautiful brown crisp. Oh yeah, excuse my French, I forgot something here. Butter. So melt some butter and pour that through the mix as well. Now, there is another thing that Kenji Lopez talks about, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm gonna try and remember it now. It's about not over mixing the ingredients. So like I spoke about in the batter one with the tempura, you don't wanna over mix it. Again, with this mix, it's all right to have a couple of lumps. The lumps, I can't remember. It helps, I think it's something to do with the air pocket. So if you have a lumpy-ish mix, then it will give it a bit more volume and a bit more air bubbles, I think. Don't quote me on that, probably do quote me on that, but it's probably all right. So when cooking these, I like to have a lowish to medium heat with these, bit of butter and a little bit of oil so the butter doesn't burn. And then all I do is blob it in. It's quite a thick batter and it will set a little bit harder when that butter is set as well. And then pour it in. Once they start rising up just a little touch and the bubbles appear all round, control the heat so that bit doesn't burn, flip it over and then you'll get a nice rise. When you're doing big batches of these, the easiest thing to do is to cook them and then just stick them on a plate, pop them in the oven on low, 50 degrees, whatever your lowest setting is, and they'll stay warm. That's about it really. Here you go, Pancakes 101. How do you have yours? Lemon and sugar, yum yum, or bacon and maple? Another little trick actually, here's one, there's a bonus round for you. If you can read that, congratulations. Milk powder. Milk powder, I'm sure it's Ed Kimball, the baker, the boy who bakes. He puts milk powder in so much of his things. So what you've got to think of milk powder is if you make a beurre noisette, so you make your burnt butter, it's the milk solids which are catching, which will turn nutty and brown. So milk powder is technically that. So you put it into a pan and then you gently toast it and it'll go nice and brown and you get this insane nutty butter smell. Put that in with a bit of that, 2 tablespoons, and it is just another level of flavour. But there you go, enjoy. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, enjoy Shrove Tuesday, make some pancakes and eat them all.